today we're going to be making another one of the wise men. So in the last video we made this one, and now we're going to be making this one. You can see he's kneeling down and he's holding a gift. He's wearing a different kind of a hat, and you can see that his body is shaped like this because he's kneeling. We're going to show you how to do that right now. So to begin with, we're going to take a piece of clay like this and cut it in half. Set half of it aside, and this half we're going to be rolling up until we can make it into a kind of a cylinder, and press the ends in so it's not too long. This should be around the length of your pin tool, maybe slightly shorter than your pin tool. So that's about right. Next we want to press it gently. We don't want it to be totally flat though. It needs to be curved around the edges. So this part should still look like a nice curve. Flatten these ends. And now we're going to be folding it into this kind of a shape. So we'll turn it this way, and we're going to fold it over like this, and then have it come up this way. If yours is a little too tall, like mine is, you could always trim some off. I think mine might be a little too tall. That looks about right. Next we need to add some arms. So if you have cracks on yours like I do, just rub them out with your thumb so that it looks nice and smooth. Okay, let's make the arms next. So we'll take our other piece of clay and we'll cut it in half, and we'll cut one of those pieces in half. We only need one of these to make our arms. So roll it over on itself, and this time we're going to roll it into a long, narrow coil, which is kind of like a cylinder, but longer. Well, it's actually a long cylinder, kind of like a pencil. It should be uniform in thickness, so if you've got a thick spot like I do here, you want to put your hands on the thick spot and roll it a little bit extra there so that you can get it all to be about the same thickness. And you'll notice that I'm moving my hands back and forth across the whole coil to try to get it to be really even. It should be pretty straight and smooth, kind of like a pencil. When you think you have a good thickness, maybe about the thickness of your pinky finger, that might be a good arm size. And you can try it on to see if it looks good to you. So it would go like this, and this would be the shoulders, and then the arms would come out down here onto the lap so that he can hold a gift. You can see one of them is a little bit longer than the other, so I'm just going to trim it so that they're about even. Okay, that looks like a good size. Now let's attach them. Scratch and attach on the top and on the sides. Make sure you scratch it nicely so that you can get it to attach all the way, and then press it into place. you'll see a gap in between where when you put them together. Try to smooth the clay across that crack to fill it in so it looks like it's one solid piece so that the shoulder is connected to the chest. Same thing on the back. Rub that clay across this gap and smooth it out so it looks like it's all one solid piece. All right, looks good. And then you can arrange the hands into the lap the way that you like. This looks pretty nice. I still think maybe my hands might be a little too long. Anytime you cut the clay, you might have a little sort of a rough edge. It's a good idea to smooth it out because good craftsmanship means the edges are nice and smooth and it looks like you took your time to finish it so it looks really nice and neat. Okay, that looks about right to me. I think it's time to make a head. So I'm going to take one of the other small pieces that I had left over and cut it in half and roll this one into a sort of an oval shape. And try it on to make sure it's the right size. You don't want to have it too big or too small so it looks like it's out of proportion. This might be a little bit big, but I'm going to pinch part of it down to make it into a neck and then roll it so that I have a nice head and a neck combination. And now I think it looks like it's about the right size. So I'm going to scratch and attach. On. Smooth the clay across the gap in between so that they're connected really securely. And I'm going to lay him down so that you can see his face. I'll pinch a little bit forward so I can have a nice little ridge for a nose. You can make your face as detailed as you want. Some people choose not to make the face detailed at all. They just want to have a nice smooth head, and that's fine. You can do as much or as little as you want. I'm going to put some eyes on mine. And I'm also going to put a beard on mine. So I'm going to take some of the leftover bits of clay and roll it up, press it flat like a pancake. And trim it into the shape of a beard. I usually make a curve at the top, kind of like the shape of a smile, so that it fits around the face nicely. And then you can smooth the edges. You can do some scratch and attach. And then smooth the space between the beard and the face so it looks like it's really part of him and it's not just stuck on. You can add some beard hairs. also decorate his clothing if you'd like to. Make him look like he's wearing something fit for a king. If you'd like to, you can add some hair. And you can give him a hat. This one I made a sort of a flat, cylindrical kind of a hat, like a fez. Take one of your other pieces of clay that you have left over from before and roll it into a coil and press in the ends so you have a nice cylindrical shape. Fezzes are a little bit narrower at one end and a little bit wider at the other end, so you can shape it like that if you want to. You can make any style hat, really. This is just a suggestion. I make a rounded indentation into the wider end so that it fits nicely onto his head. And then to make it really flat on the top, you can just tap it gently so it looks nice and finished and flat. Do your scratch and attach. And my head is already scratched, so I don't need to scratch the head. Make sure you use some pressure to get it to stick on securely. You can't just set it in place, you have to push it a little bit. And then we need a gift for his hands. So you can make your gift any shape you want. In this example, I did a sort of a treasure chest kind of a shape. So you can do the same if you'd like to. I'll show you how. Take a small piece of clay and tap the bottom and the sides to get them to be square. And then you can just kind of roll the top edge to make it rounded. You might have to tap the sides and the bottom a few times to get it to look the way you want it to look. And roll the top. Okay, when you're happy with that shape, you could decorate it if you want, or you can leave it plain. Do your scratch and attach. I'm going to do both sides and the bottom because it's going to be resting on his lap and between his hands. And I'm also going to make a line for his cuff, for the cuff of his coat, so it looks like his coat ends and his hands stick out on the end. And you can make as much detail in the hands as you like. And there you go. Very nice looking wise man. put your name on the bottom.